Deep in the heart of a sun-dappled forest, where the leaves whispered secrets to the wind, lived a cheerful bear named Barnaby. Barnaby wasn't just any bear, he was a baker, and his greatest joy was creating sweet treats for his friends. His kitchen, nestled inside a cozy, hollow log, was always filled with the warm scent of cinnamon, vanilla, and happiness. Sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating jars of colorful sprinkles and bowls of fluffy flour. One bright morning, a letter arrived, carried by a little bluebird. It was an invitation to the Great Forest Bake-Off, the most exciting event of the year. Barnaby's heart did a little flip-flop of excitement. This was his chance! He bounced on his furry toes, his mind already buzzing with ideas. He would bake his most special creation, a cake so wonderful it would make everyone smile. He knew just the thing, his legendary, top-secret, never-before-tasted sunshine honey cake. To make this extraordinary cake, however, Barnaby needed extraordinary ingredients. This wasn't a simple flour and sugar affair. First on his list was sparkling morning dew, collected from the petals of the shyest forest flowers. Next, he needed sun-ripened berries, the juiciest and reddest ones, found only at the very top of Sunnyside Hill. But the most important ingredient of all was the golden honey from the ancient buzzing oak, the tallest tree in the entire forest. There was just one tiny problem with the honey. It was guarded by a swarm of rather grumpy bees who were known for their willingness to share. They buzzed protectively around their honeycomb, their little striped jackets looking very official and very serious. Barnaby gulped. This would be tricky. But that wasn't all. To make his cake truly magical, lighter than a cloud and fluffier than a dandelion puff, Barnaby needed a very special tool, the legendary whispering whisk. Stories told of this whisk, said to have been carved from a fallen star, held the power to make any cake perfect. The legends also said it was hidden deep within the crystal caves, a dazzling labyrinth of shimmering, jewel-toned tunnels where echoes played tricks and paths twisted and turned. Barnaby took a deep breath, adjusted his baker's hat, and looked at his list. Grumpy bees, a confusing cave, and a magical whisk. This was going to be his biggest baking adventure yet. He packed a small satchel, feeling a mix of nervousness and determination. For the perfect sunshine honey cake, he would face any challenge. His quest had begun. First, Barnaby decided to seek advice. He trotted through the woods to a tall, wise-looking pine tree, the home of Professor Hoot, a very clever old owl who had read every book in the forest. Professor Hoot listened patiently, adjusting his spectacles as Barnaby explained his predicament. HMM, grumpy bees, you say? Hooted the professor, stroking his feathery chin. Force will not work with these busy fellows. You must appeal to their senses. Bees, my dear Barnaby, adore the sweet scent of flowers. Perhaps you could offer them a trade, something even more delightful than what they are guarding. A brilliant idea sparked in Barnaby's mind, a trade. He rushed back to his kitchen and, in a flurry of flour and butter, baked a batch of the most fragrant, flower-shaped cookies you could ever imagine. He used lavender, rose petals, and a hint of chamomile. The aroma that wafted from his oven was so enchanting that even the butterflies outside paused their fluttering to get a better sniff. With his basket of warm, sweet-smelling cookies, Barnaby approached the buzzing oak. The bees buzzed angrily, forming a defensive cloud. Wait, Barnaby called out gently. I come in peace. I have a gift for you. He carefully placed the cookie on a large leaf and pushed it toward the hive. One brave bee landed, tasted the cookie, and did a little happy wiggle dance in the air. Soon, the entire swarm descended, not with grumpy buzzes, but with delighted hums, enjoying the flowery feast. While they were happily distracted, Barnaby quickly and carefully collected a jar of the shimmering golden honey. "Thank you, my friends," he called, and the bees buzzed back, their grumpiness completely forgotten. One ingredient down, one magical tool to go. Barnaby headed towards the crystal caves, the entrance of which glittered like a dragon's treasure hoard. The air grew cooler as he stepped inside. The walls glowed with a soft, internal light, casting rainbows that danced on the ground. The tunnels twisted and split in every direction. It was beautiful, but also very confusing. He wandered deeper, his paws making soft padding sounds on the crystal floor. Just as he started to worry, he was lost. A tiny voice squeaked from a shadowy corner. "Lost, are we, big fella?" Barnaby peered into the darkness and saw a mischievous-looking gnome with a long white beard and a pointed red hat. He was polishing a large amethyst with a tiny cloth. "I'm looking for the whispering whisk," Barnaby said politely. The gnome's eyes twinkled. "Ah, the whisk? Many seek it, but only the clever may find it. To pass, you must solve my riddle." The gnome cleared his throat and recited, "I have no voice, but I can tell you stories. I have a spine, but I cannot stand. What am I?" Barnaby thought hard. "No voice, but tell stories? A spine, but can't stand." He thought of Professor Hoot's library, the rows and rows of silent storytellers, a book. He exclaimed. The gnome clapped his tiny hands in delight. "Correct. You are a smart bear." He pointed a stubby finger down a brightly lit tunnel. "The whisk awaits you there. But hurry, the bake-off won't wait forever." Barnaby thanked the gnome and hurried down the tunnel. There, on a pedestal of pure quartz, lay the whispering whisk. It shimmered with an otherworldly light, and as Barnaby picked it up, it seemed to hum a gentle, happy tune in his paw. It felt warm and alive. Clutching the whisk and the honey, Barnaby raced back through the forest. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows. He burst into his kitchen just as the final call for the bake-off echoed through the trees. There was no time to spare. With a speed he didn't know he possessed, Barnaby got to work. He mixed the flour, the sugar, the sun-ripened berries, and the sparkling morning dew. He poured in the golden honey, its sweetness filling the air. Then he took the whispering whisk. As he began to stir, a magical thing happened. The batter seemed to glow, rising and puffing up, becoming impossibly light and airy. It was like whipping a cloud. He poured the batter into his favorite cake tin and slid it into the oven. The scent that filled his kitchen was pure magic sunshine, honey, and a hint of forest adventure. When he pulled the cake out, it was a perfect golden brown, tall and proud. He decorated it with fresh berries and a final drizzle of honey, which sparkled like jewels. He arrived at the bake-off just in the nick of time. The clearing was filled with animals of all shapes and sizes, all gathered around a long table laden with cakes, pies, and pastries of every kind. The judges, a panel consisting of the discerning badger, the elegant doe, and the wise old tortoise, looked very serious. One by one, they tasted the entries. When they reached Barnaby's sunshine honey cake, a hush fell over the crowd. The badger took a bite, and his stern expression melted into a blissful smile. The doe closed her eyes, sighing with delight. The old tortoise, who moved slowly in all things, took a second bite almost immediately, a very rare sight indeed. "This cake," announced the tortoise, his voice filled with awe, "tastes like pure sunshine and happiness. It is perfect." The forest erupted in cheers. Barnaby had one. He was presented with the grand prize, a new, even shinier golden whisk. But Barnaby wasn't just happy about winning. The best part was sharing. He sliced his big, beautiful cake and gave a piece to everyone, to the judges, to his friends, to Professor Hoot, and even made sure to send a large sweet slice back to the gnome in the crystal caves and a plate of honey-drizzled pieces to the bees of the buzzing oak. As the moon rose over the forest, the clearing was filled with laughter and the happy sounds of friends enjoying a sweet treat together. Barnaby, surrounded by his community, realized that the true magic wasn't in the whispering whisk or the special ingredients. It was in the joy of creating something with love and sharing it with others. And that, he knew, was the sweetest prize of all. Thank you so much for watching this story with me today. I hope you enjoyed Barnaby's adventure as much as I did. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more cozy stories from the forest. See you next time!